Gang, America 300 back at it again with another video. We got rappers that'll kill us. King Von, Gucci Man, Snoop Dogg. Shit, y'all already know how this going. But I see a video of niggas that actually caught some bodies now. We ain't talking about no fake ass rappers like 6ix9ine and them, Lil Pump and them. Fuck them little rat ass niggas. Talking about real folks. Let's get straight into it, man. Hey, don't forget to subscribe, like, man. Come on now. America 300, man. We going up from here. I already told you that. Ain't nothing but going up from here. Let's get it cracking. Come on now.
Talks a big game in their lyrics. Gang affiliations, sex, drugs, even murder. And while most of these artists are all talk, some of them have actually done what they rap about, including taking a life. Not sure which artists are telling the truth and which are exaggerating about their criminal activities? Here's an exclusive look at 3 rappers that are actually real-life killers. King Von. Born as Davon Bennett in 1994, Chicago native King Von spent most of his childhood on O Block, the most dangerous streets in the whole city. Plagued by gang violence between the Black Disciples and the Gangsta Disciples, this block is a hotspot for crime and violence of all types. A few lucky ones made it out though, like Chief Keef and Michelle Obama. Von got involved in gangs early on since the neighborhood was basically run and patrolled by them. Joining up with the Black Disciples was more of a way to get some protection than anything else, but this gang is widely known as one of the most dangerous and violent street gangs in Chicago. They specialize in gun and drug trafficking, illegal gambling, kidnapping, and yes, even murder. King Von was always in trouble growing up, but as he got older, the charges became more and more serious. By the time he was 19, he was already in over his head when it came to his crimes. In 2014, Von was at a house party with some friends in a nearby neighborhood. One of the guys at the party, Malcolm Stuckey, kept looking over at Von, sizing him up. This kept happening throughout the night, with Von saying the man was steady eyeballing him during the party. Von didn't like the way he was being stared down by this guy, so he came up with a plan and set him straight. A few hours into the party, Von left with his friend Michael Wade. They headed off in a gray car and returned almost an hour later. However, instead of pulling into the driveway as they had before, they parked the car in a nearby alley and headed back towards the party. This time, they were armed. They went to the house, finding Malcolm and a couple others on the porch outside. Without hesitation, Von and Wade pulled out their loaded guns and started firing at the 3 people sitting on the porch. The main target of the shooting, the staring Malcolm Stuckey, took off running down the street with another man.
See, man, that's one thing, man. You can't, if you going to a party nowadays, that's why I don't go to parties for the exact same fucking reason, man. Niggas like this dude right here just staring you down, man. Staring you down. You don't know what the fuck that nigga thinking. You don't know if you gonna come out, that motherfucker waiting to pop your ass. So I get why King Von went out there and get, you know, his guns and shit. But it's crazy, man. That's why stay the fuck away from them parties, man. Ain't even worth it, man. That shit, the party be lasting like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, the most. Before some shit start cracking, motherfuckers leave, man. Ain't no fucking point. You ain't about getting no head, you ain't about getting no pussy, you ain't about getting none of that. All you gonna get is probably a little fun for 10 minutes, like I said, and the next 5 minutes later, you about to start hearing gunshots, niggas fighting, niggas doing all types of crazy shit, man. That's all it takes is one wrong look at you, get your ass smoked. Watch the fuck out, man. Watch out who you be watching, man. Don't be staring at niggas, man. If you gonna be in there, mind your damn business. Don't be going in and start some drama, man. We go in there and start some bullshit. I hate that shit.
They were both shot while running, and the last person on the porch was shot as well. All 3 of the victims were taken to the hospital in critical condition. Later that day, Malcolm Stuckey passed away from a gunshot wound to the head. The other 2 survived. While the victims were taken to the hospital, Von and Wade took off in the gray car, but of course, there were tons of witnesses at the party that had seen precisely what had happened and who exactly had done it. It only took a couple of days for them to get arrested. Though both King Von and Michael Wade were armed, Wade was the one that admitted to doing all the shooting. Von kept his mouth shut during interrogation. Still, they were both charged with first-degree murder and attempted murder. 3 years later, the trial started, and in 5 days, the jury found Wade guilty. King Von's charges were dropped, and he was a free man. Gucci Mane. Gucci is one of the pioneers of trap rap, and has put out a ton of original music, including 72 mixtapes and 13 studio albums. But before he was Gucci
Mane, a real legend, man. I'm gonna just say that right now. Gucci Mane, a real fucking legend in the game, bro.
he was Roderick Davis, growing up in Atlanta, getting into trouble as a teenager. Even when his music career started really getting going,
And there ain't no motherfucking clone. I'm getting tired of this motherfucker keep saying Gucci Mane the clone. Gucci Mane ain't the real Gucci Mane. Motherfucker, he grew the fuck up. What y'all want this nigga to still be fat? Still be doing dumb shit? But now he grew up and now motherfuckers want to call him a clone. Get the fuck out of here, nigga. Ain't no damn clone.
he
Fuck
couldn't
the
stay out of
clone.
trouble.
That's real
Back in
Gucci Mane.
2005,
New and improved.
Gucci was in the middle of a feud with fellow rapper Young Jeezy. The two had been throwing disses at each other, and fans were invested in the drama. In May, Jeezy released a track called Stay Strapped, where the lyrics basically put a bounty on Gucci Mane's signature ice cream cone chain. The person who handed the chain to Jeezy would get a payment of $10,000. We're not sure if the bounty was supposed to be taken literally, but some people decided it was worth the risk to go for it. A group of 5 unknown men showed up at Gucci Mane's place and attacked the rapper, trying to take his chain. He tried to fight them off and got hold of a gun. Reports don't say where that gun came from, whether it was the rappers or the attackers, but it ended up in Gucci's hands anyway. He fired off a shot to get them off him and ended up hitting one of the guys, a rapper named Pookie Loc, also known as Henry Clark. He ended up dying at the scene. 3 days later, his body was found behind a nearby middle school and cops were called. Once it was discovered who was shot, it wasn't long before they put out a warrant for Gucci's arrest on a charge of first-degree murder. When he found out about the warrant, he turned himself in since he was clearly caught. He told officers he had been acting in self-defense and that Pookie and 4 other men were trying to rob him. He must have been pretty convincing because he was released a few days later on May 24, 2005 after posting a $100,000 bail. The charges hung over his head for a while until they were dropped in January 2006 due to lack of evidence. Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg is kind of known as the fun uncle of rap at the moment. From his weed-smoking chef sessions in the kitchen with Martha Stewart to his youth football league, his popularity has grown with a broader audience more than any other rapper in the industry. He hasn't always been so accessible though, and we forget that he had more of a colorful past than we'd like to think. He was raised on the streets and had been a hardcore Rollin' 20 Crips member since he was a kid. So even though he was in the middle of recording his debut album Doggy Style and trying to get ahead in the growing hip-hop industry, he still found himself in the middle of a major crime that ended up with one man dead. In August of 1993, Snoop had been having some run-ins with rival gang members. After an altercation earlier in the day, Snoop pulled up on a group of rivals as they were eating at a picnic table on the wrong block. Sitting in the Jeep next to him was his bodyguard, Malik. When they pulled up to the group, one of them, Philip Walter Merriam, stood up. In response, Malik stood up in the open-top Jeep, staring Philip down. Feeling intimidated, Philip reached behind him to grab the gun in his waistband. Malik was faster though, and pulled out his own pistol, firing from where he stood. Philip dropped to the ground and Snoop sped away in the Jeep. After a couple of days, Snoop felt too much guilt over the incident and turned himself in, facing charges of first and second degree murder. Of course, Snoop and Malik claimed they had acted in self-defense since Philip was reaching for his own weapon. That weapon was hidden by Philip's friends before the cops arrived, so it wasn't evident that Philip was strapping. Later though, another associate testified that Philip did have a gun and that it was removed to protect him. That, plus the police's incompetence when processing the scene, made it an easy decision for the jury to make. Both Snoop Dogg and the bodyguard were found innocent and were acquitted of all charges.
Damn. Shit. That's it, guys. Y'all already know what you gotta do. Hit that like button, subscribe. I'm gonna catch y'all homies in the next one, man. Y'all take it easy, man. Peace.